Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Welcome back to Around the World Today. I'm Terry Davis, and today we continue our journey through the fascinating world of the British overseas territories. Last time, we provided an overview of these unique regions scattered across the globe and discussed the important role for the UK today. We zoom in on a territory that's far closer to home, just south of mainland Europe. That's right, we are talking about Gibraltar, a small but significant British overseas territory located at the gateway of the Mediterranean Sea. Gibraltar is more than just a rock. It's a strategic military hub, a bustling financial centre, and a unique political entity. But why is this tiny peninsula so important to the UK? And what does life look like for people who live there? Well, that's exactly what we are going to explore in this episode. This is the world we live in. This is the world we call. I'm very sorry. I felt like singing because I love Gibraltar and I love that song, and I'm just so happy that I'm talking about it on my podcast. So I'm very sorry if you. Sorry once again. So let's start by getting to know Gibraltar a little better. Geographically, Gibraltar occupies a mere 6.7 square kilometres on the southern tip of Spain, overlooking the narrow strait of Gibraltar. This strait is one of the most important maritime routes in the world, connecting the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. Over 100,000 ships pass through here every year, carrying goods and resources to and from Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Because of its strategic location, Gibraltar has long been considered a prized military and naval asset. The British seized control of Gibraltar in 1704 during the War of the Spanish Succession, and it was officially succeeded to the British under the Treaty of Ushant in 1713. For centuries, the territory served as a critical base for the British Navy, especially during the major conflicts like the Napoleonic Wars and World War II. But Gibraltar isn't just about its military history. Today, it's home to over 30,000 people who live in a cosmopolitan environment shaped by British, Spanish, and North African influences. English is its official language, but many Gibraltarians speak a lingo that's very unique, and it's Latino. It's a mix of Spanish and Andalusian Spanish and English mixed together, or you may know it as gibberish. 1 minute you could be in Gibraltar and someone is talking to you in, I'm going to use the words the King's English. Whoa, no, I was going to use the Queen's English, but that actually rolled out. straight away, but I've gone to Gibraltar, and one minute you're talking to the person, and then they just start going off with the next person in Spanish and English, and you're just confused, and all you're doing is asking for directions. And like, well, it's great. Now, the economy of Gibraltar as a financial hub, I think we're going to go there next. But the economy of Gibraltar, a financial hub. Gibraltar pushes well above its weight economically, especially when it comes to financial services. Over the past few decades, the territory has become a thriving offshore financial centre, attracting international banks, insurance companies, and gaming operators. Gibraltar's low tax environment and favourable regulatory framework have made it an alternative and attractive destination for businesses seeking to operate across Europe. That said, Gibraltar has had to carefully navigate its economic relationship with both the UK and European Union. Before Brexit, Gibraltar enjoyed access to the the EU single market, partially in financial services. However, in the 2016 referendum for Brexit brought uncertainty, as Gibraltar overwhelmingly voted to remain in the EU, with 96% of the votes opting to stay. Despite this, the territory has managed to maintain its economical sustainability thanks to its part to close ties with the UK and a strategic relationship with neighbouring Spain. Tourism also plays a significant role in Gibraltar's economy. It's an ironic rock. Its historic fortifications and duty-free shopping attract millions of visitors each year. The Rock of Gibraltar itself is home to the only wild population of monkeys in Europe, the Barbary marquises, which are much a symbol of the territory as the Union Jack flying from its fortress.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome back. I like that one. Sorry, I just left that play when I was reading a bit about something. And now I've lost what I was reading thanks to my awesome computer. But anyway, let me tell you a story about Gibraltar when I try and get back what I was doing. Um, so I went to Gibraltar with my college as part of work experience we did. And yeah, it was quite fun because we went along the private road, which is private, and we saw many manzines. And this was an English speaking tour guide. And this is what she kept saying all of the time. We're now driving along the private road, which is private. If you look out of the window, you can see the many escaping mansions. And it became a joke between myself and my lecturer and some other people, manzines, we kept saying for the rest of the year. And we had 2 months of the year left. So it became, every time we would see each other, we would talk about it. And we would say, because we were doing communications, as part of our course as well, key skills, we would say that our communications lecturer, Anne Roderick, her name was, yeah, that she would she wouldn't pass her because whenever we would do an assessment as tour guides, Anne Roderick would come and see how our communication skills and assess us for that module. So she wouldn't pass her. But the private road, which is private, and we did get to see dolphins, go on a boat. We got to see the monkeys. We went into caves. We had a nice day in Gibraltar that day. That was in 2005. And Gibraltar, as we're going to find out, has some political turmoil because in 2005, the then Labour Foreign Secretary Peter Hain tried to do a deal with Spain about shared sovereignty, and this was against Gibraltar's will. Now, let's talk about the complex situation of politics that surrounds Gibraltar. The territory has long been a point of contention between the UK and Spain. Spain continues to claim sovereignty over Gibraltar, but the people of Gibraltar have consistently rejected this. In fact, in 2 referendums, one in 1967 and another in 2002, the people of Gibraltar voted overwhelmingly to remain British. The political debate surrounding Gibraltar came to a head with Brexit. As part of the EU, Gibraltar benefited from open borders with Spain, and thousands of people cross the border daily to work in Gibraltar. The border is a lifeline for both Gibraltarians and Spaniards, but Brexit introduced new challenges. Gibraltar had to negotiate a special agreement with the EU to ensure that the border crossings would remain smooth and as they were pre-2020 when the UK left. The UK and Spain agreed on a framework to avoid a hard border. As it stands, Gibraltar remains fiercely proud of its British identity, yet it also seeks to maintain good relations with Spain, its neighbours. The Gibraltarian government, led by Chief Minister Fabian Picardo, plays a delicate balancing act between preserving the territory's autonomy and ensuring economic ties with Europe and the United Kingdom. I always forget about that bit, and that's because I need to have a drink. Do you know what I mean? I need to refresh, so I am sorry. You try talking for 15 minutes straight. But anyway, let's move on. Climate and the environment concerns. One area that often gets overlooked when discussing Gibraltar is its commitment to the environmental protection. Despite its small size, Gibraltar has made significant strides in green energy and environmental sustainability. The government has invested in renewable energy projects, including solar and wind power, to reduce its important reliance on imported electricity. Additionally, Gibraltar is focused on marine conservation, especially in its surrounding waters, which are a rich habitat for marine life, including dolphins and whales. Now, I said that I went on a dolphin trip when I went to Gibraltar. Oh, it was lovely. We went out to sea. There were no Navy ships. I don't think like big Navy ships in port because like they weren't using it as much then, and like Afghanistan and Iraq, so like the Navy was overstretched. But today I believe like it's used a little bit more, so you see a lot more naval ships there. So that's quite a sight to see, right? Um, it's a lovely place. Now, if you try and cross over on the border between Spain and Gibraltar, if you go to Spain on a package holiday, you can book a trip normally with any tour operator or any private tour operator in the Costa del Sol. You can book a trip down to Gibraltar for the day. It's a lovely trip. It's a nice, about 2 hour drive on the coach. And like when you get there, you cross the border, you can do some shopping, take your pounds. And remember, if you do go and you get your change in pounds, don't. Because Gibraltar pounds can't be used in the UK. They can only be used in Gibraltar. So you have to ask for UK pounds or ask for euro. And they go, I don't know if they actually take euro anymore because we're not a part of the EU, but they used to take euro. So be careful with the Gibraltar pounds. Now, in conclusion, so Gibraltar's future and role within the UK. So, what does the future hold for Gibraltar? With its strategic location, its thriving financial sector, and its unique political identity, Gibraltar continues to play a crucial role in the UK's global presence. As the world becomes more interconnected, Gibraltar will have to navigate its relationships, like it's been doing with both the UK and its European neighbours, carefully. But its people remain confident in their British identity. Isn't that nice? So that wraps up our deep dive into Gibraltar. In our next episode, we'll head further afield to Bermuda, where we explore the role as a financial centre and a key part of Britain's global network. But until then, I'm Terry Davis, and you've been listening to Around the World Today. Thanks for joining me, and as always, stay curious. Oh, please stay curious. Enjoy your day.
This week's episode has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time